So one last piece on kind of the market numbers. We mentioned the size of the market, the number of users, things like that. But one thing we haven't talked too much about is the tax benefit of donating crypto. So, beyond the convenience factor, there's a huge tax benefit. And if you're already familiar with the tax benefit of donating stocks and other property assets, it's very similar, at least in the US and quite a few other countries too. So for the donor, no capital gains tax, they get a fair market value deduction. And since you're a registered charity, you don't have to worry about the tax side of it either. So for both sides, that can be about a 30% difference. So as you can imagine, there's quite a few people who have made a lot of money in crypto. And because so much of their net worth is stored in crypto, they don't want to sell the crypto, pay 30% in taxes, and then donate 30% less. They really want to be able to donate that crypto directly. So, you've got to, kind of meet them where they are. So if you're not accepting crypto, kind of the bottom line is, you're making it harder for about 200 million people to support your cause. All right, Wendy, I'll turn it over to you and your team here.
Brill, thank you so much. I think one of the things that's most interesting, it's all incredibly exciting and new. I think one of the things that's most interesting is that it really does, being able to accept crypto really does open up this incredibly desirable demographic of these sort of under 45s and whole generations that didn't really have a way to get into giving very well and now have a very fast road into giving. Nicolene, can I ask you to take the next slide and introduce us to DoinGud on slide 12? Or I'm sorry, forgive me, starting with, and you're driving, with the definition of NFTs.
It's not me that's driving, so that's okay.
Oh, that's a relief.
I have some leverage here. But yeah, what are NFTs? I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it already. It's been in the news on all the extremes of what it can be, what it is, what is the environmental impacts, what amount of money has been donated, who is doing what. So there's been a lot of craze about this. But what are NFTs? Basically, NFTs is like, for now, it's like it's a new way to decide your value on unique pieces. So you can basically say what before was like a painting of Picasso, and how would you prove that that was Picasso? You would basically make a certificate, you would write all information about that and when it was created and all this kind of certificate to prove that this was a unique item. This can now, of course, be done digitally and completely transparently registered on the blockchain with the magic pen that doesn't erase anything. So you basically say that that is something that you have created, and you can also, because it's digital, you can add whatever you want in that little paper. That's a digital paper, it's a contract, we call it. And you can decide where all the beneficiaries go, who gets what happens to it after you die, what happens after, where you store it. You can decide everything. So it brings a lot of people in control about their digital creations. It can also be applied on physical creations, but for this moment, at least at DoinGud, we focus more at digital creations, and especially the world of art, which is booming right now because this was a big void in the artistic world, to not be able to control your digital art and where it goes. So a lot of artists have jumped on this and recognized this as a solution. But it's a technology. So as any technology in artists' hands, it's going to be explored, innovated, and we will have not seen the last of NFTs yet, as I believe it. And what I've seen happening already, people and especially creators and artists are pushing this technology to the limits and new limits, and that is how it should be. So a lot of innovation is still being expected from here. You'll see here some examples that maybe you have seen already in the news. Let me just have here. Like for example, the cyber newsworthy things coming out like every single week about crazes. The thing with NFTs is like it's a very natural thing in human society to collect unique items. What used to be like with stamps and maybe with baseball cards, now because you can prove something is unique digitally, people start collecting digital items. So the cyberpunks, for example, there's just limited editions of it, and when something is limited edition, people like to have it and invest in it. It becomes like a very solid investment. So that is like the collective market of NFT. A lot more about NFTs, but I will keep it a bit. Be sure to reach out about anything NFTs you have to either one of us in the chat or in other social media. Sorry, Wendy, I didn't cut me short. Don't worry.
No, perfect. So that's a top line version of what NFTs are. We've put together here just a page of both words, pictures, and images, because everybody learns and needs different kinds of examples. So we can ask, please do, during our Q&A part of our webinar, please do ask anything you want to. We're trying to convey that it's a lot of information to try and squish into a single concept. And this is one way of, there's a couple different ways of looking at it. So we can get back to this during our Q&A. Nicolene, are you okay to do what is the relationship between NFTs and nonprofits?
Yes. Oh, yes, I can. I will explain, because originally there's not naturally like a super relation between NFTs and non-profit. One is like super technology ambient, and the other thing is really to making like groundwork, social impact through a lot of amazing organizations. So you would say like, where is this connection? Well, actually, what Alexis was referring to before as well, like that there's this whole new community of cryptocurrencies people that actually, beside that there's like a huge market and there's younger people and everything, the mentality of this new money is to say that this is like, these are coins and crypto that actually always ask the question of like, what is money? And they created basically a new way of putting value on something. And this is a very mindset of abundance, and this abundance puts together like in the giving economy. That's the way it puts forward. So naturally from the crypto space, it's like a natural extension, like things that you create yourself. Most of the people don't really keep it for themselves. They want to do something useful with it. It's like, it's not just an investment of real estate that you're going to sit on it for like the rest of your lives and then see what happens. It's something you like to share. If you created something out of abundance, you want to share it. So that, I think that NFTs, and especially also creators and artists, finally found a way that, for example, in DoinGud specifically is designed for that the whole transparency about donating and giving, that is what counts on our ecosystem, and it's also very, very possible with any NFT. So any transaction or any donation or giving to charity is completely transparent. Everybody knows where it goes and how much percentage was donated to whom and to what, and that is like completely open right now. So what used to be like a market of maybe like a fundraising events and nobody exactly knows who gave what, where does it go, and like so sometimes there is a bit of a stigma on this like opaque, mysterious donation world. With NFTs, it became completely transparent, and that is what a lot of creators had attracted to it, and it's definitely connecting with social organizations in a more transparent way. Did I miss something here, Wendy?
Not at this point. We're gonna have another opportunity to share some more thoughts. Alex, I think we bounce back to you for a case study.
Yeah, really quick, just wanted to include this case study of an example of a nonprofit client of ours, Orangutan Outreach, that has done a really good job engaging with the NFT community. Overall, we've seen quite a few of our clients getting donations from NFT creators. Essentially, NFT creators selling their NFTs and saying, I'm going to donate 25% or a certain amount of the proceeds to a charity of their choice. Orangutan Outreach has gotten now multiple donations from an NFT project called Bored Ape Yacht Club. In total, they've gotten over $850,000 worth of Ether donations from them as a result of the NFT auctions, which has been so amazing to see, and made a huge impact for the organization, of course. So you can imagine they're really hyped up to get this money and engage very directly with the community. And with this, I don't want to go too much into the doing good side of things, but basically what doing good is going to do is make it easier for more nonprofits to benefit from the rise of NFTs. So just really quickly wanted to plug in that success story, but we can certainly go into more details if people have questions about that later. And in general, keep putting your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box, and we'll definitely get to them at the end. So back over to you, Wendy.
And Nick, as one of the 6 co-founders of DoinGud, could I ask you just to speak to the purpose, the massive transformative purpose?
Yes, this is the massive transformative purpose, which is, of course, something that maybe not even now in our generation will be reached, but this is what we are doing it for. It's basically, we want, what we see is that every expression of human creativity is building a better world. And that goes beyond just creators connecting to social organizations. We see that at some point, the whole concept of social organizations may not be existing anymore because everybody can do social impact straight away as a default setting, is to say. So yeah, that's what we're building it for. We want to connect humans to create a better world, and through creativity is a very good way to connect people.
Lovely. So DoinGud is pre-launch. We have our launch slated for the 2nd week in September, but we want to take this opportunity to give you a look and a feel, a sense of the look and feel of the DoinGud marketplace, which is at doinggud.com. And this will be, in a couple of weeks, what we will find. Nick, did you want to walk through the creator stuff, or would you like me to pick up here?
I'll just give like a very quick intro, but then you can take it from there, if that's okay for you. Yeah, this is like a unique opportunity to see the screens. There's a lot of people that are wanting to see this already. Haven't got the chance yet. And yeah, I just wanted to tell you that that this is unique. Go there, take it from there, Wendy.
You bet. So, so this just gives you a sense of how the creator's experience will be when they upload their NFTs, their creations, and set prices. And we'll have a handful, more than probably other NFT marketplaces, a handful of pricing and selling mechanisms that make things a little bit exciting for both the buyers and the sellers. And this is what some of the data that each stakeholder will be able to see. The creator in the top left corner will be able to identify all of the causes, social impact causes that they work with and have worked with. And in the center, they'll start being able to keep a leaderboard to remind themselves to keep track of, and we'll gamify it a bit so that there's constantly excitement and motivation to do more. We'll also be in the business. It's our responsibility to make sure that, for instance, if we look at the top left corner again, a creator hasn't chosen, let's say, my charity, that DoinGud will have places across the entire marketplace where we'll constantly promote and show and introduce and tell stories of impact of other nonprofits, so that creators are constantly exposed to new SDGs, sustainable development goals, and to new nonprofits, and they're constantly learning and seeing that good work is being done by lots of different people in lots of different places. So there's constantly an opportunity to learn more and associate themselves with a new charity. That's the look and feel.
Could I add something there, Wendy?
Thank you.
Just to kind of draw your attention to the lower screen as well, a big part of what we're doing at DoinGud is spreading and diversifying that impact as well. So it's really important to us when creators sort of come onto the platform that they have the opportunity to what we call spreading their impact, and that's across continents, and that's across, as Wendy mentioned, the Sustainable Development Goals as well.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. The diversity piece is incredibly important to us. Before we get to the Q&A, just a very simple view of what a transaction looks like. The buyers or collectors select an NFT from a creator. And what the arrows show us is the bits of funds that get streamed to the other parties in the transaction, if you will. So the buyer purchases the NFT, and immediately a minimum of 5% is streamed directly to and through your giving block accounts to your organization. It says here a minimum of 5%, and that's because we've set the minimum of 5% and a ceiling of 95%. So we expect creators will in fact exercise quite a few numbers in between this 5 and 95%, depending upon the relationships they have with the nonprofits and what their intentions are. The gallery owners are sort of the managers or curators who help put together NFT strategies for creators, and they're likely to capture a piece of the transaction. And then DoinGud has it says 5% here, that's for the first month. And then once the gallery owners are invited into the platform, DoinGud's cut of the transaction will be 2.5% going forward. And the creator captures the rest of the value of the transaction. So that's trying to show just pretty clearly, and everybody gets their money at the same time. As you might know from your conversations with Alex in the giving block, there's no changing that transaction. There's no modifying it. There's no tampering with it. None of that can be done because it's all written into the token. All those contractual relationships that we see here are written into the token, and they're basically immutable. You know, none of us in any of these stakeholder groups can change it.
Awesome. And one thing I just wanted to point out again, because I think it's so important for the model you've created, is just this idea that there is always at least 5% going to a charity or a social impact organization. This is really, really unique. You know, in other instances, even in the use case that we showed earlier, the case study, you know, it's always been something that people have done manually and sort of optionally after the fact. This is the first time where it's actually built into it in a very automated way. So you'll be able to get these contributions from the NFT sales automatically as crypto donations into your account, just like you're getting crypto donations now. So it'll create this, you know, sort of like the stream of donations essentially as these NFTs get sold on the platform, which will be really, really cool.
And might I add to that, Alex, as well, that also on the secondary market, there is a minimum of 2.5% going still to the social organizations. They are still connected to the NFT, even if it's sold on the secondary market. It doesn't matter how many times that happens. So that could mean that it could be like a regular income stream for some social organizations.
Yeah,
we recognize that one of the biggest challenges, of course, is that once the money is raised in any charity, the next task is to re-raise the money for the next quarter, or the next year, or the next 2 or 3 year cycle. And one of the ambitions for DoinGud is to, I guess, I'm not sure if it's fair to say the word alleviate, but to alleviate some of the administrative and energy burden associated with funding the programs. We really believe that this is one way to release at least some of the work that's required to capture government grants and long-term donor relationships, which, as we know, can take many years to cultivate.
Yep. All right, so one quick slide here for next steps before we get into the questions. Pretty high level, but you know, if you're not already accepting crypto with us or in another way, first step, you've got to be able to accept crypto donations if you want to get crypto donations, basically. Second step, if you're already accepting crypto donations, is we'll get you connected with the team at DoinGud so you can get onboarded with them before they launch in September. And then once you're onboarded and set up and ready to go, our teams will work with your team to, get you up to speed on all things crypto and NFTs, make sure you're making the most of the platforms, all that kind of stuff. And actually, as part of this too, I want to also introduce two people from the Giving Block team, who I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second while I add Emily and Rochelle here. 1 second. All right, so we've got Emily and Rochelle from the Giving Block client success team joining now. I wanted to make sure they get a chance to introduce themselves since they'll be coordinating a lot of this too.
Hi, so nice to meet everybody. I'm Emily on the customer success team. I actually was a Giving Block client for a few years before joining this side. So former director of development and excited to help fundraise with NFTs and be part of the team. Thanks all for being here.
Thanks, Emily. Hi, everyone. So glad you're all here. My name is Rochelle. I'm the other customer success manager here at the Giving Block. Also, like Emily, I come from the nonprofit side, so have done everything pretty much in development, fundraising, and very excited to help nonprofits accept this new revenue stream and take advantage of all these different opportunities we have within crypto and NFTs. Thank you all again for being here. It's nice to meet everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So, we'll jump into Q&A now, but, if you're not already accepting crypto, go ahead and book a demo on our website, givingblock.com/book a demo. If you're already set up to accept crypto and want to get set up with DoinGud right away, you can email socialimpact@doinggud.com and they'll get you started on the onboarding. Wendy, anything you want to add to that before we jump into Q&A?
No, I think we'll go into the questions. They're coming in and they're really good ones. Thank you.
Okay, let me see. So first question from Michelle is, how can NPOs get on the platform? And will all NPOs be linked to the SDGs? I'm thinking that's a DoinGud specific question.
Rebecca, can you take that one?
Hey, yes, of course. NPOs, nonprofit organizations, essentially, it's a very, very, very quick process, what we call onboarding, but essentially it's reduced to a very simple type form. That will provide us with the information that we need to make sure that the money goes to where it needs to be. And then after that, you will have the opportunity to set up a profile on the DoinGud platform. And through this process, when you're entering all this information, you'll have the opportunity to assign or attach the SDGs that you feel your work encompasses. Let me know if that answers your question, Michelle.
Awesome. And then the next question is from Mark. He says, love the token name. Is there an ETA on the light paper for Amore?
The light paper will be coming out soon. I think there is a sneak peek at the light paper. Mark, you may be uncanny in your timing. I think it might have just been tweeted about a half an hour ago.
It's the most sexy light paper that exists in space, I've been told. So that's not a trailer, but I should check it out if I were you.
Awesome. And then one of the other questions was related if there is a DoinGud crypto, but I think that last answer covered that. Another question from Megan this time. What's involved with onboarding nonprofits onto the DoinGud marketplace? What expectations do you have of nonprofit partners? For example, sharing stories, et cetera, et cetera. Are there any fees for nonprofits to participate?
I'll take this one. Megan, thank you so much for that. I think Rebecca's explained, and she will be at the other end of email or phone on how to onboard, which is the very simple type form. I think it has maybe 10 fields. It's pretty modest. And there are no questions there you wouldn't recognize. And the setup is instant with the relationship with the Giving Block. It's incredibly easy. So that's a good thing. It's one of the things that's really simplified. The expectations of the partners, look, you know, this is a very rapidly evolving sector and donor pool and currency or asset. So right now, you could join and do nothing and remain utterly passive. And if you got in during the launch for DoinGud, the probability is that your nonprofit would be selected, because there's so few, and the vast majority of them are, those spaces are dedicated to the Giving Block clients. So the probability is if you did absolutely nothing, you would still find contributions. The DoinGud ecosystem is this marketplace, and it's also a social medium. So there will be opportunities to open conversations with other nonprofits, to initiate conversations with creators, and then to create collaborations. So we know that in social environments, and we spend time either in LinkedIn or on Facebook together or in Discord together, some of the newer channels and newer media, that new relationships form. And we fully expect that both parties or multiple parties will be inspired and excited about the possibility of creating new dedicated NFTs and finding different ways to collaborate, whether that's in real life or on the platform or elsewhere in the ecosystem. So what would you do? The minimum you would do is set up a profile page, an image, the basic data and description about the nonprofit, a description about the, let's say, program or campaign that's being targeted. And then the thing I think that, you know, when Alex talks about this new demographic, one of the things they're pretty clear on is that, and you guys know this, you know this from having gone through the last, 2, 3, 5, 7 years in a sector that's had a lot of ups and downs, and that is they just seem to want like proof and evidence. So we believe, whether anecdotal or quantitative, we are happy to have and publish there on the profile page and other places in DoinGud impact stories. So the impact stories mean a lot to us because it not only allows the nonprofit to demonstrate its success and its ability to help people, but it also adds to this notion of transparency and democracy. This notion that everything we do is as transparent as it can possibly be. And impact stories help us kind of stay true to that value. And I know you had one other question. Are there any fees? There are no fees at all for the nonprofits to participate, none. So DoinGud doesn't charge the nonprofits any fees at all. I hope that answers. Nick, sorry.
So feel free to add to that last question that you had, just by stating as well, like we also are very lucky to have like social impact organizations ambassadors, which basically are organizations that already are on board, and they are so enthusiastic about everything that they would love to share their story. And they are also to be found on the social media, on the Discord, and also on the other demo days. So that would, if you'd like to talk to someone that is from your sector and can explain that side of the story, we also have them very present and approachable. So
we got a little bit of a robot there. Go ahead, Alex, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Next question is from Michelle. Do you have to be a customer of TGB to be on the DoinGud platform? No, you don't have to be a customer of the Giving Block to be on the platform. But if you're not working with us, you will have to be accepting crypto donations in some other way if you want to be able to get the crypto donations. So, it's not a requirement, but it might make things a bit easier on your part. All right. Next question is from Ashley. We have artists who would like to gift NFTs to our nonprofit for auction, and then we also are interested in creating our own. How would this work for artists donating NFTs to us for auction? This is a bit of a tricky one, and Wendy and I were actually just talking about this earlier today. Right now, we are encouraging you to have the creator auction off the NFTs and donate the sale proceeds to your organization. There's a bit of complexity when it comes to actually donating the NFTs to a nonprofit directly because of, kind of in essence, a lack of guidance from the IRS in terms of how that'll work when it comes to valuations, tax receipting, all that kind of stuff. So to keep things simple, it's a bit easier if you have the creators auction it off and then donate the proceeds afterwards. But, as soon as we get a bit more guidance from the IRS and from our legal team, we'll definitely, hopefully move towards a model where that'll be possible. Right. So I think that's the last question.
Alex, I see
Yep.
some other questions in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. Let me jump over to the chat real quick then.
I think it starts
All
with
right.
Jerry's the first one to pose.
Yep. So this is terrific. So who actually mints the NFT? The artist? Who pays any gas fees? The artist? And how do you ensure that purchasers of the NFTs meet the tax deductibility criteria of the IRS? Who sends a letter to the donor for tax filing? Thanks. So I guess, Wendy, do you want to start at least with the first couple of
Yeah.
questions there?
Nick, would you like to take the first questions that belong to Doing Good? So I'll take them. So the person, oh, there you are. Okay. So the party that mints the NFT is the artist. Because we expect to have a wide diversity of artists, not just the giant famous ones, but literally Doing Good will be open to any creator of any type, including everybody in this audience could participate in Doing Good and sell an NFT. In order to protect the creator, we invite them to take advantage of this other part of the technology, which allows them to mint the NFT only after the sale is made. So they won't spend a lot of money creating these little tokens, these important little tokens, unless they're pretty confident they're going to make money from it. So the creator mints the NFTs and pays whatever the gas fees are. There's a couple of technologies that Doing Good has chosen so that the fees are some of the lowest in the industry, if I can use that term. The fees are some of the lowest in the industry based on as a result of the technology choices that Doing Good has made. And the storage, which is pretty important for NFT, the durability and sustainability of NFT storage is also one of the newer technologies, which is also sort of a safekeeping factor for the creator. So they know that their NFTs will, I don't want to say always for all time, but will have decades of durability, I think is the right time frame, decades of durability. And that's one of the important things that's going on in this NFT industry. Where is my NFT? Where is it being saved? What is the company that's saving it? How do I know it'll be around? How am I doing here, Alex?
Yeah.
Purchase the NFTs, tax deductible criteria.
Yeah, I guess really quick on the last tax piece. So we would be handling this as any other crypto donation. So, it's really up to the donor to determine the fair market value of the portion that they're donating. So let's say, just as an easy example, their NFT sells for 10 Ether, and one of those Ether gets donated to the nonprofit after the auction is over. They would basically get a tax deduction for that one Ether. And the automated tax receipts from the giving block would still be functioning the same way. All right. And then it looks like we've got another question down here from Becca in the chat. Is there a chance to get involved if September is too soon for my team? Short answer is yes. And the launch is happening in September though. And like Wendy was saying, the sooner you get involved, kind of the more opportunity there is.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah, especially in this beginning, there's like this VIP treatment that we do everything still manually, which it could be an advantage as well in the service and in all the attention that we can give you now, doing this manual setup, and we can be actively involved in promoting these social organizations to the creators as well. So it's a good time to go inside, but it's never too late, obviously.
Awesome. And then a question from Michelle asking if we could share the Discord channel.
I did send a link with the link tree on the chat. The Discord is there too. There's this invitation, so you click on it, you go straight in. There's other social media there as well to be found. We tried to actualize all the links that you will find DoinGud there.
Perfect. And then a question from Lisa. How does a gallery come into play if the creator is minting and selling the NFT?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's okay, I'll take that. Yeah, basically what it is, like the minting is a contract. So it's basically an agreement between parties, right? It's a registration and it's an agreement. So basically what happens is that the gallery and the creator have a previous agreement already made about the percentage, about which social organization, about maybe about the marketing strategy, anything that can be there. And that contract gets minted when the collector buys it. So they are both involved in that sense. I'm not sure that answered the question correctly.
I think that answers it. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question is from Jerry. How easy is it for nonprofits to set up MetaMasks? Are there any best practices for donors to be aware of? I mean, I guess the short answer is it's relatively straightforward if you're kind of familiar with crypto. It's kind of a detailed process, I would say. So maybe something better that we can connect one-on-one about if you need help or questions about how setting up that works. But overall, you know, it's not too bad if you're familiar with crypto. If you're new to crypto, it might seem a bit scary, but something we can help you with.
The good news is that they're evolving as well. I know the crypto community knows that the usability can be very improved, and they're improving a lot actually the last month. So I'm sure this trend will set forward.
Yep. And then a question from John. What percentage of the sale of the NFT is kept by the artist minting the NFT?
It's really the artist's choice. So a minimum of 2.5% goes to DoinGud for maintaining the platform. A minimum of 5% goes to the nonprofit, and the artist himself, actually him or herself, themselves, keep. I'm slowing down here because I went into it too quickly. They keep 100%. They keep 100% of the selling price. The DoinGud fee is put on top of that, and the amount of funds that the creator wants to donate to the nonprofit is on top of that. And so the collector ends up purchasing, if you will, sort of the bundle of those three things. So this is a, if you will, this is a creator's first platform, meaning the tools and the rules and the technology, the artistic sentiment, it's set up to really help creators of all types, whether you think it's fine arts or digital or music or performance or a piece of code. You know, our one of our central beliefs is that it's about this expression of human creativity. DoinGud is intended to be for any creator of any type. So we're really trying to motivate people to identify their creativity and take a chance by bringing it to the platform and aligning themselves with a nonprofit and making human expression of creativity an everyday thing, and giving and sharing an everyday thing. So that's the long answer. Sorry about that. The short answer is 100%.
Awesome. And then There's a question here from Lisa. Does the contact, or I guess maybe contract, get created by DoinGud?
Yeah, well, I answered already in the chat, like fast. Oh, the gallery contract. Okay, I see. No, the gallery, it's signed by, if I'm not mistaken here, it's signed by two parties, the creator and the gallery in that sense. The gallery feature also is something that we don't launch it at launch. It's in a second phase of the product, just to give you that disclaimer. And it will be like multiple galleries working inside the ecosystem. So they have their own way to curate and everything on the platform as well. It will not be the launch feature. It will not be launched here in September right now, but in the second launch, it will be there.
Awesome. And then a question from Ashley. Do we need MetaMask if we're already partnered with TGB? No, you'll be able to use what we've got you set up for, so you won't need to do any other sort of crypto onboarding. And then I know we've only got a couple minutes left, but Michelle asked, is there an age barrier for creators? Are the NFT creators who are teens?
It's a really good question. There isn't an easy answer to this. Most platforms that are in the business of selling NFTs currently don't allow, and I think, Nicolene, if I'm not mistaken, we sort of go with a prevailing jurisdiction. So for instance, in the US, the prevailing jurisdiction suggests 18 years old. But we recognize that that teens and younger are well suited to this environment, as long as we can maintain protection and safety. So we don't have the answer for that at launch, but it's something we're working on.
Awesome. Then Wendy, I think I saw you starting to type a response to this one about what currencies are accepted.
I did, but I'm going to give that to Nicolene and then over to you, Alex, for clarification.
Okay. So the question is, what currencies are accepted again? And what's the charitable resale contribution? Is it 2.5% minimum, or can the creator set the terms to be higher?
Yes, the creator can definitely set the terms to be higher for the social organization part. So basically, they can basically give everything to the social organization if they want. We have like a very simple interface that they can just choose a slider of how much percentage they would like to go to that social organization that they choose. That's also important, like they really choose themselves, the social organization. The first question was about like the kind of cryptocurrencies. For this moment, we have Matic and Ethereum. Yeah, that will go amplifying during the time that we're going to be operating. But at the moment, that's the two ones that we have.
Awesome. And on the giving block side, outside of this, we can support, I think it's almost 40 different cryptocurrencies now. So you have a couple other options if you're trying to fundraise crypto more generally. All right. I think we've answered all the questions now in the chat, in the Q&A. Yeah.
One in from Jerry, which I think this is really interesting stuff. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay, yeah, one more. Any issues about charitable deduction if NFT is created out of the USA? Wendy, do you have any info on that?
So where it's created is, as far as I recall from our in-house lawyers, where it's created is not really mission critical, because the platform and cryptocurrency, as you'll know, doesn't really recognize borders, geographic borders. So no, the creators, you remember the flow of funds, that slide of the flow of funds, the creator's wallet is the destination. As long as it's plugged into DoinGud, it's conceivable. I may take this moment with 2 minutes remaining to provide some reassurance that The Giving Block is one of our partners, of course, and provides a high level of due diligence around know your customer. And DoinGud, for the creators part, will also be conducting due diligence around know your customer around every creator. So we're transparent about that as well. And the tools that we use will be transparent. So we try to create a high level of safety, recognizing that no system is perfect.
Awesome. There's two more really quick questions at the last minute. So question from John, would the nonprofit get the auction winner's info as a donor? And what about other participants' info? I guess in the DoinGud platform, Wendy, I guess what information are you all collecting?
Nick, may I hand that to you?
Yes, you can hand it. Well, we are very strong on the privacy policies, so this will be the initial thought of is that it's a completely peer-to-peer. One thing is clear, like the data is completely your owned, user-owned data. So we don't own any data of nobody, basically. For analytic reasons, yeah, anonymous data we do collect because we do need to know how the ecosystem is working and what works and what doesn't work, but that is never connected to your identity. So any identity connection data is not ours. It's peer-to-peer stored on IPFS.
Awesome. And then we have one more last minute question, then we'll have to wrap up. From Megan, if we already are receiving certain types of crypto through the Giving Block, but not necessarily Matic or Taleo, will we need to accept that type of currency or can it convert through TGB? I think, Nick, what you said earlier was Matic and Ethereum, right? Is it two that you're accepting?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, you'll be able to accept that through TGB. That won't be an issue. All right. I think we're all set then. Yeah, if you're not already accepting crypto, I just dropped the link in the Zoom chat here. Please book a demo. And then it looks like Wendy put her follow-up email in there. Please reach out to them if you want to get set up. And we'll send out a follow-up email, later today or tomorrow morning.
Alex, a huge thanks to you and to Pat for extraordinary groundbreaking work you guys are doing and the exceptional client service that you provide. And also for being such a generous and enthusiastic partner. We really appreciate it. It was great to be here with you and to meet some folks, if only in words and names.
Awesome. Yeah, we're excited to work together. So yeah, we'll send out more info soon. And yeah, excited to get more NFT creators donating to charity.
Super.
Awesome.
Thank you.